There's been a somewhat of a change in the weather, but that's okay. We shall persevere. Steaming up a little bit. Why have I got my mask on, which is usually used for used for steaming up my glasses most often, but also for stopping the spread of the death plague? Well, I'm in here. I've just opened up the rockwool safe and sound insulation. Bought 2 bags of it. That's all I could get in my car at the time from B&Q, because I had other stuff in the boot as well, which I'll show you about later. But yeah, this is going to form the basis of the acoustic panels. Here it is. There's 6. Let me hold this in a more comfortable way. There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in here. And what I'm going to do with these is keep these to size. Don't need to be cutting that up apart from the awkward places. These will be wrapped, these slabs, in it's garden fleece, like a garden plant protection covering, which is breathable, is a thin fleece. Because it's breathable, it will be wrapped around this, allowing the sound to still travel through it, but it is going to keep all the fibres and particles trapped inside there. When that's covered in fleece, that is then going to be put, and this is why I couldn't get stuff, all this stuff in the car. I bought some wood, which I will be using to make frames. The fleeced up insulation foam, the acoustic panel will then go in here, so it maintains its shape. It can be hung. It makes a more permanent structure. Just a bit nicer as well, isn't it? But yeah, gravity won't then be like dragging it down. If I try to hang that directly on the wall over time, because it's I don't know what the word is. Good job. My job isn't anything to do with understanding and interpreting words and their meanings, because it's I suppose just a fibrous, non-solid material. That if I put a hook in that and try and hang it, it's just gonna drag down over time and lead to saggy panels, and no one wants a saggy panel. So yeah, that's going to be put in a frame, and then that will be put wrapped in burlap, which is what sacks are made of, ye olde fashioned sacks. Very thick, coarse weave stuff. It's a pretty material, so it'll look nice, but also because it's a coarse weave, that's going to allow sound to pass through it very well and into the acoustic panel, where it will be trapped. It will then be hung on the walls such as this, with essentially corks from wine glasses. They're a bit heavier duty, but cork spacers are basically corks from wine bottles. And it will be just held just a little bit off the wall, maybe an inch or so, because I play Warhammer and I measure everything in inches. Naturally, it's a nightmare on a side topic. My favourite pastime, or one of my favourite pastimes, involves heavy use of measuring things in inches. Nightmare going around B&Q, having measured all my house in inches, and then having to convert everything on the go when I realise we don't use inches really anymore. Anyway, so that's going to be spaced just off the wall, which will allow the sound, any sound that does get through the already fairly hefty insulation, will then be... Oh, I've just got a notification from John Solo. Hello, John. I consider him something of a mentor. He's a good friend. Check out all of his books and work. Go and join John's Solo's Beard Brigade. Great place to hang out. He's taught me a huge amount. I'm eternally thankful to you, sir. But yeah, any sound that does go... He won't like me calling him a mentor. He'll be like, why isn't he paying me money then? All I do is pester him with questions. He's probably sick to death of me. But his books are amazing. Phenomenal audiobook producer, narrator, everything. The proof is spot on. Honestly, fantastic. So if you need a narrator who's not a British one with a beard, who wears heavy metal t-shirts, today we're sporting Black Sabbath from the 2013 tour. that then go and get John. But the sound will bounce through the insulation panels. If it goes through them, it'll bounce off the wall, be trapped in that cavity, and anything that then is reflected will be trapped again in the insulation. I've also simplified the design. I think I overcomplicated things. So what I'm planning on doing, instead of like having the chipboard wall partition all the way up to here and like cutting around this and cutting a cavity for that, I'm actually just going to have it up to here, right here, and I'm going to have it running along here like an aeroplane up to there where the flat section is before the curve starts. And it's basically, I was inspired by school display boards. When I was little, they'd like big, heavy boards, probably chipboard themselves actually, covered in fabric that you would pin displays to, massive iron feet on them. And I'm basically just going to make 2 of those, except mine will run all the way down to the floor, and they're going to have feet on them, which I'm going to make from wood planks, which is what the slightly nicer bit of wood is going to be for. And they'll be attached by these steel L shapes against the partition. There'll be 3 on each side of each wall section. And I've also got these useful things, which are actually bendable brackets. So you see where there's a gap there. That's because you can actually twist it up. So the L shape's on it, okay, foot's there, L shape attaching it to the wall. Put this on the L shape, like that, bend this section up so it's at an angle, and then I can put a brace against the wall as well, which is going to further enhance its stability. So, doesn't that leave a gap, RJ? I hear you saying, you clown, you absolute moron. Yes, it does. However, this, like I said in the last video, is going to be packed full of insulation as well. That actually, looking at it now, that size, that width, actually might fit in there with no cutting. That would be nice as well, wouldn't it? Those will be put on with just braces or brackets, or I don't know what the word is, some wood holding them in place once they've been wrapped in their fleece and their burlap. And then the gap itself, I'm going to get an acoustic curtain and be hanging that along this triangular gap that I'll have from the top of the wall to the ceiling. So I'll just be hanging an acoustic curtain there. And because I'll be recording sat down here, I'm going to have a standing desk actually. So I'll be sat down here or stood here, raised up. That's not going to cause too much of an issue. Just having the gap there, and then the acoustic curtain will sort it out. And if it's really a problem, I can make some small acoustic panels and stick them on top of the wall and just stuff that space up. I've got loads of the kind of triangular acoustic panels as well. The little squares, the tiles from my last studio that I brought with me. That can be stuffed in places as well. That's gonna be, because it's so flexible, that's gonna be great stuffed in corners. But also, if I need it to be, it's very light. It is effective stuff. It will be, it will fill that hole if necessary, because it's nice and light and still does a good job. I use a ISO cube to record as well. I hope I can get rid of that. If you don't know what that is, that's there's a more famous, extremely expensive one called a Chaotica eyeball. The ISO cube is from Studio Spares, which is vastly more appropriately priced for what it is, which is basically a sphere of foam that you put over your microphone, big old one. It's like its own separate sound booth, especially for your little microphone person. And then that's got a hole cut out that you speak into. They're not what Chaotica tries to bill them as the only thing you need. You don't need to treat it. However, as a supplemental treatment, they are banging. And I've heard people go, "Oh, they're no good. They're a waste of money. They're not. They're fantastic." In my opinion, in my personal use of them, they've made a world of difference. But they are supplemental treatments, not they're not the be all and end all of treatments. You are going to have to do everything what I'm doing as well. But it does help. It helps eliminate a few echoes. I find it really useful. Ideally, I'd get rid of that because it is a big old thing and you kind of got to peer over the top of it. It's awkward. But if I don't, I've worked with one for 4.5 years now. That's fine. I can keep working with it. Or look to further enhance my studio once I'm able to record again. So that's the update for now. I'll probably check back in with you later once I have constructed my first acoustic panel. I only bought a bit of material, bit of wood and stuff, so I could have a test run to see if I needed to alter the design or get a bit of, different kind of wood. So I'm going to build a test one just now. Bye!